It's no secret that being a dad is messy. But don't worry, Dr. Rocco is here to help you raise the next generation of happy and successful children. Through conversations with other dads going through similar struggles, you'll hear what they went through and how they came out the other side better than ever before. If you're ready to better yourself through personal development so you can be a better dad, then listen on. Welcome to It's Dad Time. Here's your host, Dr. Rocco.
All right, we're going to jam today. Let's talk about Bandaids. When we should use them with the kids, when we shouldn't use them with kids, why Bandaids actually matter for your future, with your child's future, why it matters for your child's future, and how the Band-Aid affects the subconscious mind. It's pretty fascinating. The culture that we've developed, in especially in America, about how we use tools and don't understand what it's actually communicating to our children. Your child falls, child gets hurt, scrapes their knee, and our initial reaction as parents is, oh my God, we run over, we grab them, we hold them, we these big grandiose reactions, making sure the child's okay. And what you're actually communicating when you're this helicopter parent or this parent that's, hyper focused on your child, and if your child's okay, if they fall or if they scrape their knee or all these things, you're actually creating crazy codependency. We don't want children to have to need us in the future, right? That's just not how you create a healthy child. And oftentimes, if we leave children alone, I've seen it with my daughter a ton of times. She'll be out playing and playing and playing, and she'll bite it, and she will bite it hard. And it takes everything inside of me to just keep my lips shut. Don't say anything. Just simply observe what's happening. Let her fall. Sometimes she'll get up and she'll hold her knee and she'll go, she'll focus really hard, all of her energy on her knee. And then she'll get up, boom, right back to playing. And I'll just observe. Other times she'll cry. Sometimes she does need me to go over there. She'll cry. I'll put my hand on it. We'll talk. I'm like, does it hurt? I'll be like, are you okay? How does it feel? Ask her these questions, and she'll tell me how it feels. It hurts, and she'll shed some tears. And I'll be like, do you want Dad to put my hand on it? She said, yes. I'll put my hand on it. I was like, let's breathe together. We'll breathe. I see the emotions change. I'm like, you good? She's like, I'm good. Up, running right back at it. Now, the helicopter parent or grandma, right? Grandmas are guilty of this too. As soon as they hit and bite it, boom, they fly over, they run over. Oh my God, are you okay? Pick them up. You shower them with attention. Now what has happened is they are equating in their subconscious mind, how do I get mom and dad's attention? How do I get people's attention? So they're literally fabricating this little reality in their brains that when I get hurt or I am injured, that means I have someone's attention. So there is inherent value now in being injured, in being hurt, in being sick. We don't want that. Okay. We want to unlink those two things, which are very heavily linked together. I actually, I've been listening to this podcast for a while. I kind of talk all over the place and in circles, but it comes back around. I know people very intimately that their mother and father were very militant. They didn't give them much attention. They were growing up in an era where that really wasn't a thing. We didn't talk about emotions. You didn't have feelings. It's fine. And so they didn't get much attention. They didn't get much love. Both parents had to do what they needed to do to survive, and they did what they did. And that's amazing. They handled the situation the best of their abilities. But what they communicated to me was that now in life, when they were children and their parents were raising them the way they chose to raise them, that the only time they got their mother's attention was if they were sick. And then they got showered on and doted on with love and hugs and kisses and all of these things. And they got attention. And so when they started to kind of psychoanalyze themselves, what they found out later in life is they linked sickness, disease, injuries with love and attention. And so as they progressed through life, when they weren't getting enough love from their partner, when they weren't getting enough love from their boyfriend, when they weren't getting enough love from their children, they made themselves sick have injuries, have all of these things. The subconscious mind is that powerful because all it wanted was to be loved and seen. So it linked being loved and seen with sickness and disease. How many people in our lives do we know that this happens to? This is huge. So I also know people who, when they've been sick, their mother, as the child was sick, would go buy them stuffed animals or toys, right? You're giving the child a reward for being sick. Now, the child didn't do anything wrong. Of course, the child doesn't feel good. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we have, as parents, to be acutely aware of those situations when the child isn't feeling well, to not give them any more attention than absolutely necessary or that we give them on a regular basis. You can't up your level of love, up your level of, um, you know, caring towards them just because they're sick. Now, I know you want to. I know that we sometimes need to. We're talking about the rule, not the outlier here. Okay. That's before you guys even start. But if your child doesn't feel well, and if your child, let's back it up actually, because if your child has to be sick for you to show them more love and more affection, then you need to do some self-analyzation about why you're not showing your child enough love and enough attention and doing things with them while they're not sick. You want to reinforce those patterns, not the patterns of sickness. Dads, this matters for you especially because most of the time you're doing lots of things and managing lots of things at once, and you have very limited time with your child. So if your child's sick and you're giving her more of your limited time because she's not feeling well or he's not feeling well, you got to be very, very careful because now the child won't just link being sick with attention. They'll link being sick from attention from my father. Not what you want, right? Okay, so we have to make sure we do not dote on children that aren't feeling well. It's okay for them to not feel well. They're allowed to lay in bed and rest. You don't need to go and shower them with hugs and kisses. Yes, extra cuddles, that's okay. You can get a little bit more cuddles, of course. Human contact when you don't feel good feels good, but it feels good because we've been programmed that we get more attention when we're sick. That's why it feels good. The subconscious is literally responding to get its needs met all the time. So the basis of this is we need to love on our kids 24/7. If you love your kid 24/7 and they don't feel well, it's no change to the subconscious mind that you're just loving them through not feeling well. Just like you love them through life when they're doing great. You love them all the time. Now, when the kid falls, again, it's the same thing. The scrape on the knee. You have to let them self-regulate their emotions. You need to allow them to express themselves. I can't tell you how many times that I would be somewhere, even with my mom, right? When Sloan was real young, she'd fall and trip, and my mom would start to say something. I'd grab her, be like, and she'd hear that little whimper, that meemaw going, real quick, and we'd just be dead silent. And she would regulate what she needed to regulate, and she'd go. They are literal just balls that bounce off of everything. They need to be able to do this. They need to be able to regulate their emotions. They need to regulate their anger. They need to be able to become and learn these things. And they learn at a very young age, From 0 to 7 is when that subconscious mind is wide open. 98% of our neurology is being hardwired. Our beliefs and how we get love, attention, how we feel about money, how we do all of these things are happening from 0 to 7. Okay. That's being hardwired in. Every single word you say matters. Every action you have matters. This is how the subconscious mind works. The children watch and observe everything. Okay. We want to reward the good behaviors. So now let's go all the way back to Bandaids. Okay. First thing in my house, we don't use Bandaids unless it's an absolute necessity. Okay. We want the air on it. We want it healing. We want it doing everything it needs to do. Scrape your knee, clean it off. Unless that thing is still bleeding, we're not putting a Band-Aid on it. Okay. Clean it a couple times. Innate intelligence is on the job and it's going to heal it perfectly every time. It's what it does. Now, if we have to use a Band-Aid, and because let's just say it's bleeding a little bit more and we got to put a Band-Aid on top of it, that's perfectly fine. We get normal, plain, absolutely no designs, no colors, no fancy Elsa Band-Aids. at all. We are not rewarding being hurt. You have to remember, you're not talking to the child's conscious mind when you're doing this. You're talking to the subconscious mind. When you talk to the subconscious mind, it is literal, okay? If the child equates injury with cute Elsa Band-Aids, do you think the child's going to get injured more to get more cute Elsa Band-Aids? Of course. And then this will literally extrapolate out later in life to bigger and bigger things that aren't just Elsa Band-Aids, because the subconscious mind is going to realize it got rewarded for having an injury. It's that simple. And this is how the mind works. So we as parents get to understand this and give our children the best chance for succeeding that there possibly is. And that's why I'm massively against using Band-Aids that have any type of designs on them, because it's a reward for the subconscious. It's no different than if the child's sick, getting them a teddy bear. Okay. I know this sounds cold, but you have to remember there's the physical. You're talking to the physical, but from the time they're 0 to 7, you're communicating with their subconscious mind 24/7. It's a wide open sponge that is very, very impressionable. Okay. So get rid of the colorful Band-Aids, use a regular Band-Aid, put it on them. They'll be perfectly fine. Take it off as soon as you can and let the air and nature heal that thing, and everything's going to be fine. There's a lot to digest here. If you have questions, comments, please comment. Please give me any questions. If there's more topics like this, if you want to know more about the subconscious mind and programming with the children and how it works or anything like that, please come onto one of the platforms, get on Instagram at itsdadtime_, shoot me a message. I'd love to do more podcasts about these things and plan to. And so I definitely want to talk to you. Hopefully help you understand how this subconscious mind works and these little life hacks that we can put together that are going to set our children up for massive success in the future, and not to be dependent on somebody else for love and respect and all of these other things, right? We want them to be these proud human beings of themselves. And that's where it starts. It starts with you teaching them and being congruent. Again, then you got to do it in your life. But all right, it's been good. Enjoy this Friday focus. Let's get out there. Let's focus on not being helicopter parents this weekend. Let's focus on letting them fall, letting them scrape their knee, letting them get back up, letting them regulate their emotions, be there for them emotionally, physically, whatever they need. But don't push it. Don't push your beliefs. Don't push your insecurities. Don't push your scaredness on them while they're at the playground this weekend. Let them go. Let them run. Let them play with their friends.
That's the end of this episode of It's Dad Time, but there's plenty more where that came from. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and we'd love to hear from you, whether it's questions, success stories, or horror stories, so we can help you raise the next generation of happy and successful children. Follow us on Instagram and send us a message at itsdadtime_. We'll see you next time on It's Dad Time.